Hello everyone and welcome back in a new video. My name is Wahid Anwar and in this video we are going to learn about resource leveling and resource smoothing. Okay, so every project manager faces the same challenge, like resources are always limited but the demand for them is often unlimited. So how we manage these resources can make the difference between a project finishing smoothly or running into delays and cost overrun. So, in this video, we will explore two powerful techniques for efficient resource management, resource leveling, and resource smoothing. Okay, both aim to prevent over allocation and underutilization of resources, but these two techniques work in different ways. Resource leveling are just scheduled to match resource availability, while smoothing ensures an even workload without changing the project's duration. Okay, so actually these techniques can easily be applied in tools like Primavera P6 and MS Project, where the software can automate much of the process. However, before applying them, it's essential to understand the basic concept, advantages, and limitations. So, without this knowledge, using these tools blindly can lead to a wrong decision, delays, or unrealistic schedules. Okay, so by the end of this video, you will not only understand the definition, features, and difference between leveling and smoothing, but you will also know exactly when and how to apply them effectively in real world projects. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, so next we have resource leveling and resource smoothing. You can see techniques for efficient resource management. So, both resource leveling and resource smoothing are techniques for managing resource allocation. So, the main idea is to make sure we don't fall into two common traps like the over allocation and underutilization. Over allocation means when one resource is assigned to too many tasks at the same time. Uh, you know. If we will have the over allocation. So over allocation usually leading to conflicts and delays. And then when we talk about the under utilization, so when resources are not used effectively, causing inefficiency and wasted potentials of resources. Okay, so the goal of this technique is to strike a balance, ensuring resources are neither overworked or nor sitting idle. Okay, so before we look into software application like Primavera P6 or MS project, it is very important to have a solid understanding of the basic concepts and principles. Okay, so next we have resource leveling definition here. So you can see here definition is to adjust task need to resolve resource conflicts by balancing demand with the availability. Okay, so resource leveling is about adjusting the start and finish dates of the tasks to remove resource conflicts. In simple terms, if a person or a piece of equipment is double booked and assigned to two tasks at the same time, so resources are resource leveling always one of those tasks, so that the resources can complete work on one task before moving the next. So the purpose is to match resources demand with the resource availability. But keep in mind, this may cause changes in the overall project duration or even affect the critical path as well. Okay, so here you can see in a picture we have example with leveling and without leveling. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So after that, we have here the resource leveling key features. So here you can see we have some key features of resource leveling, including uh, adjust schedule to match availability, then resolve overall allocation, may extend duration, affect the critical path, and prioritize resource over deadlines. Okay, so schedule adjustment means the project schedule is uh, will change to fit the availability of resources. Then conflict resolutions, it resolves the situation where the same resources is required in the multiple places at once. Okay, and it will also impact on the duration. So labeling often, they lead to an extending the project duration, or a shift in the critical path. Then with the labeling, resources are prioritized over deadlines. Okay, so uh, this means the main focus is to avoid over allocation, even if it results in a longer project timeline or a duration. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So next we have the resource labeling, when to use. Okay, so when should resource labeling be applied? So here you can see we have here the resource over allocated, then limited availability, then one resource needed for multiple tasks. Okay, so when resources are over allocated, meaning they are scheduled for more work than they can handle at the same time. Okay, when resources are limited in availability and cannot be replaced or supplemented. So you can say when a single resource is required for multiple tasks at the same time, creating unavoidable conflicts as well. Okay, so in these cases, resource labeling helps to create a more realistic and manageable plan. Okay, I hope this is clear when we should use the resource labeling. So next we have the resource labeling advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so like every technique, resource labeling has its advantages and disadvantages. So first, you can see we have here the advantages: prevent the burnout, realistic scheduling, and efficiency. Okay, so actually, resource leveling prevents the resource burnout, which is especially important when dealing with the human resources. So it produces realistic schedules that are actually achievable, and then you can say it ensures better efficiency because resources are not overloaded. Okay, so next we have here disadvantages. You can see here delays, frequent scheduling. Okay, so it may cause project delays since tasks are pushed forward to resolve conflicts, and then it also can lead to frequent scheduling, especially in the dynamic projects with many changes. Okay, so while leveling, I mean resource leveling makes your resources plan more realistic, it does come at the more, you can say, cost of flexibility in timeline. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Next, we have resource leveling example. So let's see a practical example of resource leveling. Here you can see resource leveling worker task one, then task two. Then here you can see we have the pushed forward task one and task two. Okay, you can see here. So engineer did it in two tasks at once. So here you can see one task delayed. Okay, so imagine you have one engineer assigned to task A and B, both scheduled at the same time. Since the engineer cannot work on both simultaneously, so one of the tasks, says task B, is delayed until the engineer finish the task A or task one. Okay, so the conflict is resolved uh, but as a result, the overall project duration may be extended. This is the clear case of the resource leveling in action. Okay. So next we have resource smoothing definition. Okay. So here we have the definition. You can see here the optimizes the resource use without changing project duration. So resource smoothing is a bit different. It focuses on the optimizing the use of resources without changing the overall project duration. So, in resource smoothing, the project finish date is fixed instead of delaying task beyond the deadline. So, the available float or slack within a schedule is used to redistribute tasks and smooth out peaks in the resources demand. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so next we have resource smoothing key features. So some key features of resource smoothing includes, here you can see works within project constraints, no change to duration or critical path. Then balance workload, peak and trough. Okay, so actually resource smoothing works within the given project constraints, managing no change in project completion date. Okay, so it does not alert the critical path or extended the project duration, and it focuses on the balancing workload so that resources are not overloaded on some days and underutilized on the others. Okay, so something is all about achieving balance while respecting the deadlines in resource smoothing. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Next, we have here the resource smoothing when to use. So, when should resource smoothing be applied? Here you can see the when we have the strict deadlines, uneven resource distribution, need optimization without delay. Okay, so when the project has strict deadlines that cannot be shifted, and when the workload distribution is uneven, creating high peaks and low trough of resources use, then you can say when you need to optimize resources but without delaying the project. So this makes a smoothing an excellent choice in project where the deadline is fixed, such as contractual or delivery based projects. Okay, so I hope this is clear when we should use these resource smoothing. So next we have resource smoothing advantages and disadvantages. Okay, so here we have the advantages: maintains schedule balance, balanced workloads, then productivity. So the project schedule and deadlines are maintained and the workloads are balanced, which improves team productivity, and you can say it creates a more stable and predictable work environment. Okay, so these are the advantages of the resource smoothing. And next we have the disadvantages. Yes, you can see the limited flexibility and cannot fix over allocation. So it has limited flexibility. If resources are truly insufficient, so smoothing cannot solve the problems, and it does not resolve over allocation when no slack or float is available. Okay, so be careful when you will apply resource smoothing. So something is helpful when deadlines are fixed, but it cannot work miracles if resources are already, you can say, overloaded. Okay, so these were the advantages and disadvantages of resource smoothing. Okay, so next we have resource smoothing example. So here we have the technician workload spread evenly across available days. Here you can see workload and time. So imagine a technician who has too much work scheduled on day 1 and very little workload schedule on a day 3. So instead of allowing this uneven workload, we reschedule some of day 1's task into day 3. Okay, so this balance, you can say, the technician's workload, but keeps the overall project finish date unchanged. That's resource smoothing is in action. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so now let's compare resource leveling and resource smoothing side by side. Here we have the aspect, then resource leveling, then resource smoothing. So here you can see the goal. Here we have the under, you can see resource leveling, resolve the overall allocation. So it's mean the resource leveling will resolve the overall allocation, and resource smoothing will the goal of this resource smoothing is to optimize allocation of resources. Okay, so then next we have the timeline. So using resource leveling may extend, timeline can change, duration can change, but the using resource smoothing, there will be no change in duration and timeline. So then we have the critical path. So may shift under resource leveling. You can see here. So resource leveling can shift the critical path while smoothing does not. Okay. So constraints here you can see the availability, then timeline and flow. So resource leveling works under the resource availability constraints, whilst a resource smoothing work under time and flow constraints. Okay, so this comparison, makes it very clear. Choose leveling when resources are over allocated and deadlines are flexible, and choose smoothing when deadlines are the strict, but workload distribution needed improvement. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So next we have the real world examples. Here you can see. So here we have actually two real world examples, leveling, then smoothing. Okay, so actually this is the resource leveling, crane needed for the multiple tasks or some tasks delayed. Okay, so smoothing, software team workload balanced between phases. Okay, in construction projects, imagine a crane is required for two tasks at the same time. With resource leveling, one task is delayed so that the crane can finish the first task before moving to the second one. Okay, so here in a software project, in development project, workload may not be evenly distributed across the phases. So with resource smoothing, tasks are shifted within the available flow to balance the team's workload without delaying the project's final delivery date. Okay, so I hope this is clear. So next we have when to use each technique. Okay, so we have already discussed, but here let's discuss again. So here you can see the overall location, resources and flexible deadlines, leveling, then fixed deadlines and workload balance smoothing. So if resources are over allocated and you have flexibility in deadlines, so then you should use resource leveling. And if the deadlines are fixed but you need to balance workload, use resource smoothing. Okay, so this decision always depends on your project priorities, whether resources are more important or deadlines are more important. Okay, so I hope this is clear when to use each technique. Okay, so here we have in the last conclusion. Okay, so here you can see resource leveling, balanced resources may delay project, then resource smoothing balances the workload, keeps the timeline fixed. So, resource leveling ensures resources are not over allocated by adjusting schedules, but this may delay the project. Okay, and then resource smoothing balances workload within the existing deadline, but it cannot resolve true over allocation. Okay, so this is very important to understand. And both the techniques are available in project management tools like P6 and MS Project. However, before applying them, it is essential to understand their basic principle. Otherwise, the software may generate schedules that look correct, but you can say are not in practical. Okay, so remember, resource leveling gives you a more realistic plan when resources are short, while smoothing ensures efficiency when deadlines cannot move. Okay, so I hope everything is clear related to the resource leveling and resource smoothing. So here you can see I have also created a PDF file on resource leveling and on resource smoothing for those who may face any difficulty in learning from the slides. Okay, so I will also upload this file. Okay, it's a PDF file, so you can see here. Okay, okay, so I hope everything is clear related to the resource leveling and resource smoothing. So now let's move to the Primavera P6. I just show here. If I go to the view shown bottom, here you can see resource usage profile, and some resources you can see we have over allocated here. This is scaffolder, and if I double click in the January months, you can see this is the limit we have assigned this one and over allocated at 12 units. So next what we have to do, we have to follow some steps. Let me show you, please. This is the scaffolder, and this is one is the fabricator, but both are the over allocated. Okay, you can see here. Okay, now first of all, if you will have many projects, so you can uh, add here a column, customize, go to the journal, and you can uh, project leveling priority. Okay, you can also add here. And now we are going to move to the activities. Right click here, columns, then go to the journal option and choose the activity leveling priority. Okay, add it, and I am going to add it on the at the end. Apply, and you can see here. Okay, first of all, what we have to do, we have to choose the activity leveling priority. Okay, this one lowest, because this one is the project work start, and that one is the that one is the milestone. Second, resource mobilization normal. Here you can see we have the earthwork for the grading and leveling, so it should be high. Okay, choose this option again, choose the high. I think this should be top. Okay, okay, so this should be high, and this also should be high. We are just going to check these activities nature and what the duration. Normal, we need on here stop, Let's have high. Okay, fine. Okay, pivot high. Okay, fine. High, and lowest. Okay. So first of all, we have to choose the activity leveling priority. Okay, so now let me show you one thing more. Actually, how system is going to calculate this limit. If I choose this one scaffolder, double click here, so you can see we have here limit here 27, but overall resource which we have assigned that are the 39 you can see. And here I'm talking about this specific in the month. Okay, so over allocated are 12. So if you go to the resources, so you can see we have here only one. Okay, let me convert into the units first. Means one per day. Okay, you understand? So this is the example. So next, if I, okay, let me show you please. Scaffolder, if I will increase its availability, let me add here two. So its limit will be automatically increased, and you can see we don't have here the over allocated. Double click here, you can see limit has been automatically increased. Okay, you understand? So I'm going to choose the resources, and I am going to put here 8 hours. Okay, to show the same. Okay. Okay, so next we will move to the tools. Then you can see resource leveling. So here you can see we have options here. Click on drop down. So use scheduling options for from. Okay, so this one you can see what is this. This is one. This one is the automatically level resource when scheduling. Okay, so actually if we will check in this option, so resource leveling is automatically applied every time you schedule the project. Okay, so useful when the frequent updates to the schedules are made and resources need uh, the constant balancing. Okay, so in that case we can use the second. You can see, okay, so okay, so second one you can see consider assignment in other projects within the priority equal and higher than the. Okay, so you can see if I click on close and let me show you. I don't want to save this. Let me show you. If this start I just told you, if you want to uh, if you want to use the other products in this resource leveling priority, so we can add here. Okay, apply, and we can also, you can see we can also increase and project leveling priority. So okay, so you can also use this. Okay, so this was the actually reason. Okay, so consider assignment in other projects with priority equal or higher than. So you uh, you can increase your priority, you can set its priority, but we don't need to use this option because this is the not, you can see this is the not a best practice for the resource leveling. Okay, a Primavera P6 can evaluate resource availability across the multiple projects. So system has ability to for the resource leveling for using the other projects, but we, this is the not a best practice. Okay, so uh, next we can see here the uh, preserve scheduled early and a late date. So actually ensure that labeling does not override the task calculated early and late start finish date. So it helps it helps to maintain the logical flow of the scheduling. Okay, so we can use this option. This is good. Okay, so recalculate, you can see assignment cost after the leveling. So actually, if we will check in this option, so what will happen if we will select this option? So resource cost will be reallocated based on the any changes made during the leveling. So uh, it is important for keeping cost estimates accurate after the adjustment, but we don't need to check in this option. Okay, this here you can see level of all resources, applicable leveling to all the resources within the project. Then, if I will uncheck this option, we can also select the resources. Okay, let's suppose here you can see scaffolder. We can choose the scaffolder, we can choose the fabricator, we can choose the pipe fitter, we can choose the planning as a project, okay, engineer or a project planner. We can choose this. Means we can choose the uh, required option. If we will uncheck this option, if we will check this option, so we are talking about the level all the resources. Okay, so next please, uh, next we have here the level resources only within the activity total flow. Okay, so if we will check in this option, so resource leveling is considered by the total flow of the activities. Okay, if we will check this in this option, so system will shuffle these resources and into the float will be covered, but your deadline will not exceed your duration will not exceed. Okay, so um, actually actually if you will check this option, so it's well, you can say the prevents the changes to the activities on the critical path. It's not going to affect on the critical path. Okay, ensure the project's end date is not delayed. So this is very important. If we will uncheck this option, so deadline automatically will be shuffled, okay, will be moved, and the total number of duration will can be increased. Okay, so we will take the example, don't worry. Okay, so here you can see the we have option here, the preserve the minimum floor within the leveling. We can choose here, we can have the limit, we can put here the limit maximum percent to our allocated the resources. We can also increase or decrease this limit as per your requirement. Level priorities, level priorities is you can say the determine how activities are prioritized during the leveling process. Okay, so you can check activity. I will choose the activity leveling priority, and it should be in a ascending order. We can also add here, let's suppose we want to I mean we need activity id, or we can also phases, we can also choose the float. So for the resource leveling, so okay, so we can also choose the activity IDs, everything, but I'm not going to choose this one. But I have choose this one. This option is good. So let me remove this. Okay, before applying resource leveling, let me show you. Now you can see we have total 155 days, and deadline we have here the 17. You can check here. So next we will move to the tools resource leveling, and I am going to uncheck this option. Okay, so you will see here what will happen. The changes, click on apply, click on level resources, and you can say we don't have over allocation here, but our duration has been increased, and you can see deadline we have 28 April. Okay, so You can see the effect of resource leveling on our project. Duration has been automatically increased from 155 to 191 days, and finish date is 28 April. Now again move to the tools, resource leveling, and click in this option. You can see resource leveling only within the total float. Click on here, and again you can see we have here 155 days and 17 at was 17 March here. Now what we are going to do, we are going to uncheck this option, uncheck this option. We use for all resources to level, okay, but I have unchecked this option. Now we will take the example for the specific resource, means the scaffolding. You can see scaffolder is highlighted, and you can see here scaffolder is over allocated. So we will choose this option, click on apply. So in this case what we will do, we are going to uh, just the level the resource for only for the scaffolder, okay. So now you will see here, click on apply resource leveling. Now you can see how many days we have, 167, and you can see we have 31 March, okay. So now one still you can see we have one activity is the uh, non-critical, okay. So don't have a much cushion here where we can the cushion which we can use here. So that's why uh, the leveling resource only within the activity float, okay. So again if I will click on this option, preserve scheduling early and date, okay, fine. So again you can see we have 155 and same date. So this option is for the when we level resources only within the activity total float, okay. If we will click in this option, so our deadline will not push, okay, you understand. If we will uncheck this option, so our deadline will be automatically, okay, increase. We will choose for all these when we will have to all resource level. So your duration automatically will be more increase more, okay. You can see. So this is the method, this is the way uh, how we can apply the resource leveling on our project, okay. So you can see here, this is the top priority, low priority, low, you can see here, high priority, okay. So okay, thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next video.